This is the Red All Over reaction show to Barnsley versus Blackpool, as well as previewing Cambridge. A 1-0 loss for the Reds. Tricky game, and not the best performance. Let's get into it. So, Al, you've been telling us all the stats just before we started recording. Oh. It weren't the best game, were it?
It wasn't. Critchley sussed us out straight away. Men behind ball, gives most possession with 2/3 possession to their 1/3. They never wanted really. They'd have been happy with a draw, seeing as not good. You know, they'd been happy at 0-0. And he stopped our wing backs, and with no plan B, had we? No plan B whatsoever. And a stat for you: Givney started his second game for us, and another penalty. Although it wasn't him who get it away, but that's 2 starts he's had and 2 penalties against us.
So I can blame him for that.
Well, you know, do we need to blame? No, but O'Keefe, why are we jumping in for tackles? I mean, McAtee does it. They all jump in for tackles. Stand on your feet. There's no need to. And it were an easy penalty. Although Mr. Breakspear, I'll mention the referee. I don't know what he were on, but goodness me. Definite handball in second half in Ponty end when he blocked from Cosgrove and he didn't give it. There were a couple on Styles and I've never seen a side get away with as much pushing it back. You can see their hands like that on our players and they never got anything. I mean, that's not an excuse. But when you're having 12 shots and none on target, that's not acceptable. It isn't acceptable. And I think the starting lineup were wrong to start with, but we've no way of getting. You know, Blackpool are no better than us. I mean, we've lost to 3 decent sides at home, but to lose 4 out of 6 at home, for me, is unacceptable.
You said starting lineup were wrong. What would you have changed?
Well, I want to start at Chapman. I think that left us open. He'd not had, I don't think, a league start, has he? No, I'm not going to say that we're wrong, but I think we needed more experience against the Championship side, but that's just my opinion. Not starting Chapman.
It were for the game, Andy. I thought it was a very frustrating watch, more than anything else, just because we had the odd chance, and I would say we probably created the better chances, barring the penalty. They had the Dougal opportunity, and that was basically it for Blackpool. But for us, a lot of last-ditch blocks from Blackpool, which, if them blocks aren't there, the game probably looks a little bit better than what it actually did do, I'd say.
I mean, I know what Alan said, and I'm not disagreeing with him. You know, losing 4 home matches out of 6 isn't right. It's not what you expected. It's not, you know, it's not what you want. You know, we were pretty good at home last year, but not so good so far this year. And not one on target. The only thing I would say is they're not one on target. Is right. They weren't one on target, but some of them were on target. But they were incredible at their blocking. They threw themselves in front of the ball, and did all sorts to stop us scoring. We missed, you know,
saved a few and all.
Yeah, and with Alan, it were that the handball has given every virtually almost every match in the Premier League. It's dove in and he's dove in to block it and it's hit his hands, and you know it's a penalty. For me, it were also a poor officiating. For me, it were also a penalty on Cosgrove, because even from where I'm sat at the back of the East Stand and it's in front of the Ponty end, he's got the ball in the area and he's got a clear push in the middle of his back and sent him flying. If they're not penalties, then I don't know why the officials are officiating, because the referee and the assistant referee can't miss that. I don't know how they can miss that. Having said that, we've missed three really, really good chances. McAtee missed a sitter. Max Waters missed one, and Devante missed one. If they'd have gone, you know, we could have scored 3 goals just so we could have scored a couple on them, plus a penalty. we won't be saying, oh, it were wrong this, it were wrong that. It's how it was. I'm just trying to put a positive spin on it. I do think that we spent too much time playing like crabs, going backwards and sideways. I've not got a problem with us maintaining possession rather than just cobbing it, hopefully up front. But if you're going to retain possession like we do, passing it, and Mel Dijaveni, he had more touches than I think anybody else on the flipping pitch. I ain't got a problem with us passing, but it's got to be purposeful. I don't want it to go back to the Keith Hill days where we passed it about forever and never got anywhere at all with it. I don't think it were anywhere near as bad as that. I thought we should have had more shots on target. We should have had better shots on target. Give Blackpool the credit. They defended well, absolutely well. It were a penalty. It were a rash challenge. It were a penalty. If we'd have been given an equally obvious penalty, then I think it'd have been a very different game. But it wasn't. So, good luck to them. Good luck to them. I do think 7 bookings actually at 11 on the pitch were a lot. I think there was one tackle on Callum Stiles where he just got a warning where I thought it were going to take him out from his neck upwards. The one tackle was incredible. So, I think they were defending industrially at times. And
Dougal, Andy, we're lucky not to get his second yellow. He should have gone off. Dougal should have gone. Yeah. I think nearly took his yellow card and thought wisely about it.
You see, I don't like these. I know you do, Josh, but I don't like these professional fouls. Like there were a bit where Cole breaks away and he just takes him out, just gets hold of him and wrestles. Now, for me, no intention whatsoever to play the ball. Their sendings off for me. They have no part in football. I know, people have been accepting of it, saying, "Oh, it's a professional foul." No, it's just thuggery. It shouldn't be allowed on a football pitch. They'd stop it. If they got stat again sent off for just playing the man, no intention of playing the ball. I think it's really, really poor. But they played within what's allowed and not allowed. It were worth taking the yellow card just to stop him because he were on his way. But well done. I'm pleased for my nephew Andy and great nephew George who were there in the Kop watching their team win. I'm gutted for me, and I'm not going to talk to them. I think I might disown them. I'll have to think about it.
They should thank you, Andy, for letting him have 3 points and the first away goal as well. They should thank you, Mr. Simcox.
It had to be Rhodes and all, didn't it? It had to be Rhodes. What can you say? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not as dumb and gloom as as these two are, Josh.
All roads lead to Barnsley, don't they? Oh, there you go.
Don't give up your day job, Al.
Yeah. I won't get that taxi service you give to Kate either. So, yeah, I think especially on that Dougal one, that really frustrated me with the referee because he went to pull out a yellow card. He put his hand in his pocket and realised that he had to send him off for it. And it's one of them that it's not a second yellow to send someone off, but it is a foul. And if you're going to give a yellow, then you've got to give it. And yeah, it frustrated me, did that, because he went to do it, did the ref, and then bottled it. And I was like, oh, no, you can't do that. That was very, very disappointing. Craig, another experienced side we've come up against, and probably one of the better sides in the league, or a team you'd expect to be up there. And again, we're on the wrong side of the result. This time, less of an issue than what Peterborough and Portsmouth were, and Oxford. Obviously, the game a bit closer and fairly even, but very, very drab and boring game, I thought.
Yeah, I thought game match weather, to be honest with you. Well, dull, boring. We give them a reason to defend by giving them a silly free kick. There's no way he should be flying in there. I don't know. Only thing I can think is a few seconds before that happened, Williams did the same thing and got a big cheer from crowd. So he thought, split second decision, decided to do the same, try and get a cheer. And I mean, he was knowing, it was Stonewall penalty. I'm not complaining about that with referee, but I said in last video, it needed to be Cosgrove who needed to play this game because we knew they were going to defend. We knew that they were going to be robust. They were not going to press. I'd said before that they'd only had 11 yellow cards, least in league. on it to Northampton. So they want to press and dive in. And then they come out and get 7 in one game. So I think that professional fouls, hey, when we do them, we're cheering our players and saying great.
No, I don't. No,
I do.
No, I don't.
Like I said, end of the day, if it's going to stop them scoring, so I'm not going to say that another team shouldn't do it. I thought McCart had his worst game for us. I think it wasn't his defending that was the issue, it was his passing. In that first half, I mean, he put it into stands more than I actually met a player with a ball. So we're just we know what Neil Critch's side were going to do when we come here. We were passing it from side to side to side to side. We're like watching tennis. No, I mean, I'll constantly like that in Ponty and me.
I'd neck it.
Yeah. I've had a great workout, me. So, but we do that to draw them out and to get them to. So basically, they move up further up the pitch. They weren't willing to do it after the penalty, so it was just pointless passing, which is the reason why we needed a second guy up top who can do something different. And Cosgrove comes on in second half, and we start creating chances. We started putting ball into the box. We started playing up to him and playing off of him, and we created a fair few chances. But we could have played another 90 minutes, another 180 minutes, another 270 minutes if we want to go out in that game, because our finishing is abysmal. If it's not Cole taking a shot, it is. I mean, it's really bad. McAtee, as soon as he runs into the box, everyone's thinking it first time. He dummies a shot, puts their defender on his bum, and then all he needs to do is pick a side, and he puts it over. Stop trying to put it in the top corner every time. Just hit it. You know, you never know what's going to happen. I'm trying to place it in corners all the time. I think I said this last season. When you try and do that, the margin of error is so small. You know, if you put your laces through it, hit it at keeper, you've got a full net. It can go either side at keeper, or goalkeeper's going to spill it to a striker. But I don't know. Everybody likes this pretty football, and that's why they all try and pass it into the net. Nah, because it has to be pretty. But let's go on to a couple of positives. I think Mael played well. I think there were a lot of pressure on him yesterday, should I say. There were a lot of pressure for starts in the last one. And I think he did a lot better. I think Jordan Williams played okay. Liam Roberts, Nida Semwa, he played well again, made a few saves. Basically, anything from midfield and upwards, I thought it was a really bad game for all of them. I think the movement from midfield was lackluster. Herbie came again, marked out at game again, but he refused to even try and move from that central position to try and drag their players out. John McAtee doing a lot of running again, but not a lot more than that. Devante, I thought at times today, he reverted back to a season and a half ago where he didn't really do much running. I don't know whether I would just because he couldn't be bothered because of weather, but I think that was one of his worst performances as well. So not a lot of positives from yesterday for me, not a lot at all.
And there, keeper Grimshaw, that was easiest game he'll ever have for me.
Well, still tried to gears one though, didn't he? When he passed it to Callum Styles, it's not like it. That one frustrating thing for me was the one time he got put under pressure.
Cole were offside though for that.
No, I know, but like the one time he got put under pressure, we scored. The ball went in the net. Like he didn't do a good job of that situation at all. So it just irritated me that was the only time we really pressured. Apart from when John McAtee went flying in, which I like players that close down like that with purpose. But when you're coming at full tilt, you're never stopping to nick that ball. You're never going to block it, and it's so easy for someone to telegraph it. You've got to be a bit smarter with, but don't stand off them as well. That was another frustrating element to it. I think on De Givney as well, I thought he was very solid. But the one thing that I would like to see him do more is play the ball in front of McCart or Williams. There are too many passes came straight to him sometimes, and it's that extra touch or two that allowed.
It meant they had to control it.
Yeah, you have to control it. You have to think, and it's seconds like that allow Blackpool to get back into shape so much quicker. I think if it's something that they can step onto and carry, it forces whoever receives the ball to actually be positive with it and can't allow them to turn and then go back inside and then we'd do it all over again. That'd be my one sort of bit of criticism or area of improvement for him. But I thought he was a lot more solid and sure than what he was in that first game.
And
I think both teams' defences were fairly good. Both teams' defences, but both teams' attack and midfield, I thought were fairly poor. Right, so I don't think anybody deserved to win that game. But yeah,
But only positive out in it, lads, is we ain't got a game at Oakwell until 24th of October. So at least it's going to be a decent, it's going to be a decent month or two for us in Barnsley, innit?
We'll take that, I suppose. A couple of away games. We'll probably be top at league by time next time we play at home, given that we much rather play away. Just on that, Andy, do you think there's anything that we could have done, barring Cosgrove coming on? Do you think that was sort of the main issue yesterday? Was the team selection was wrong in the first half, and it sort of set us up to play a certain way that didn't exactly work? Or do you think there are other things that we could have done?
I think Alan got it right. It wouldn't have been the team that I would have started with, but you know, I'm not going to complain that McAtee was starting instead of Cosgrove, because it's horses for courses, isn't it? He did, you know, with his one chance that he put up in the Pontiac, he did everything right. It was absolute excellent. He put that, you know, in the box, controlled it, moved it, put their player on his backside. It was the final execution. And I don't suppose he meant to try any Alan Smithwick ball, but I presume he tried to put it in there. It's one of them things. It's just what happens in football. So I'm not, I think he's a decent player and he marries up well with other players. But I do think we were better when he moved back a little bit and brought Sam Cosgrove on. I do think that made a difference because Cosgrove can hold the ball up and lay it off. I think some of the balls into the box, particularly from the right, were put in the second half. I'm talking particularly. I thought were poor. You know, if you're going to get it to him, you know, get it over to him. Don't put it to the first man. Put it on the floor. Put it anywhere except where he can get hold of it. You know, it were either too short or too long. It went flying over the top. I thought, as Craig said, and you've said, I thought the defence was really good. It was one moment to madness, and you know, it were a clear penalty. But you know, my talk. Have a think of. O'Keefe went diving in to block it, and their run over his leg and fell over. You know, were it a penalty? Well, obviously it was. But you know, their player were good at running into his leg and tippling over. I'm only joking, Josh. It were a penalty. But the defence played well. Midfield, I thought we passed it about not too bad. You know, we passed it forward into midfield, and a few times we turned and ran with it. But a lot of the time we go to midfield and then passed it back. The only additional thing I would say is for Herbie, get some longer studs in your boots, Herbie, because it come to get the ball from defence in the centre of defence, you know, around the halfway line to try and start something off, which I think is good and it's what we want him to do. But you're slipping over when you're last man. Don't tipple over and slip. You know, so get some longer studs.
You know, that was their invisible man who fouled him.
Well, they didn't bring any Blackpool donkeys with him, did they? You know, I thought they did all right. Their striker, whatever number he was, 27, something like that. They were playing up front with Rhodes. He did a decent job in the first half. He put his centre back and roughed us up a little bit, but we stood up to it all right. It'd have been so different. You know, we won't be complaining. It'd be so different if they hadn't been so damn good at blocking. That's one thing. They're so good at blocking. And the chances that we had, you know, the clear chances if we'd have put them in. So, and we Alan, I think that match we're expecting too much of Theo Chapman. That
player, Andy, with Killian Classy. I thought CJ Hamilton not wing. He was brilliant. He got down backside O'Keefe too many times.
Oh well, O'Keefe didn't have his best game. That's, you know, I think he's a decent player, but it weren't his best game yesterday. So, you know, but it happens, doesn't it? It happens. So you know, it's easy afterwards, isn't it, to say, well, I'd have picked him or I'd have picked him. But I do think Sam Cosgrove should have started. I think that would have been that'd have been a better fit, really. And I think you were expecting too much of Theo for a first start against what we know as a strong and a physical side, you know, an experienced side. So, you know, a few tweaks, but you know, it's easy.
That's what surprised me, that John Russell didn't start against a big side, you know, a Boston side like them.
Yeah, and they're the things, Al, aren't they? They're the little things that. But we look back and we can say it easily. But I do think you're right on that. I do think you're right. Well,
I think the one positive in which it does show with Theo Chapman getting the start is it seems like if you're performing in them in the greatest tournament of all time, the Papa John's Trophy, and if you're showing commitment and willing in training, that you will get your opportunity. It's not a case of like, is a young player, he's not going to get there. It's showing that he's going to get. They are going to get the opportunities if they play there and stay as well. You look at Marsh Quinn on this season, fair bit. Jack Shepherd, still a young lad, getting his opportunity. Lapata still young, whilst they're still forced by our frailties sort of defensively. And the fact that we've had like a reshuffle completely at that back line, I think it's good to see that there is opportunities there for players, but it did seem like a weird game to throw him into in terms of there's easier sides and an easier way to break him into a side rather than against, like you said, a championship. Well, championship last season side.
Just move forward with the ball instead of crab-like. That's all I would say. I do understand the passing it from one side to the other side to keep pulling them about, making them close down, making them do a lot of running and all that. But there's got to be an end product. You can't just keep doing that.
Anyway, can I just say, lads, at least we had something to cheer about last night. Congratulations, Callum Simpson, for winning his boxing bout and getting a belt on under his wing. And I think is now looking to go for a British Championship. So well done, Callum. Put a smile on his face last night.
Yeah, congratulations, Callum, and no doubt we'll see him round Oakwell with that belt in the very, very near future. Good to see the club is all supporting him.
He'll be up front next week.
Be nice to see.
They'll know
they might stop fouling us then.
They'll know they'll stop that. They'll not do a professional foul on him.
When he's on pitch, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? There you go. Come on, Cal.
Mia's never watched boxing before, but she was singing "He's one of our own" and going, "Go on, Callum, bosh him." So I don't know what a bosh is, but apparently that's what he needed to do.
But we needed some bish bash bosh yesterday on pitch, didn't we?
Yeah. Do I get any extra points for saying it? Well, Mayella, we're going to get picked as central centre back because everybody kept telling me it wasn't.
You're clutching at straws.
No.
You're clutching at straws.
No props. No.
Move on.
Craig, well,
you've never well done from me.
Well, we're next to Tortwell, Craig. I'll show you where a bosh is. You'll just stand there with your hands by your side, and I'll show you.
Anything else to discuss from yesterday? I think we've just about covered it, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got the Doom and Gloom brothers with us here, Josh. I'm not kidding.
Right, moving on to Tuesday night against Cambridge. Well, Al, how do you feel about this one? Because obviously, I think we've done fairly well against Cambridge in the past. I want to say, did we beat them last? We beat them last season, home and away.
3-0 with 10 men, and
yes.
Collins got carried off, didn't he? So yeah, it's an interesting one because they drew yesterday at Derby, and I think now they're only point behind us, so they're doing better this season. So it's not an easy place to go to on a Tuesday night, is it? So yeah, it's a big ask for me. Neil Collins has got to pick a side what can go out and attack rather than not attack as we did yesterday. So it's going to be interesting to see how many changes he puts in to go down to Abbey Stadium.
Any changes you'd like to see yourself?
Well, I know people don't like Phillips. He was injured. For me, let's bring Josh Benson back in because his creativity, what we're lacking, I think, and he will create. And I don't think we've got anybody at the moment in midfield who can get that creativity. We're just sitting back, aren't we? And that final pass is not there. So for me, get Benson in.
Yeah, he played really well as well in the Papa John's game, hasn't he, so far, Benson, as well. He's impressed in them. So, yeah, it'd be nice to see him back in and just add some more competition to that midfield. Andy, what do you think to Cambridge away?
Well, I like Phillips. I like Adam Phillips. He's not had the best start to the season, but if he's injured, he's not going to play, is he? I don't know how badly.
He was just ill, Andy. Not injured. He was just ill yesterday.
Well, I hope he recovers because I like to see him. But you're right about Josh Benson. He played really well against Man City. I know it's the under-21s, but he played really well, and that's one of the surprises with Adam being ill. Then that he didn't come in. I don't get that because he was good. I think they're going to be a bit of a test. They've got the lad up front, and I can't pronounce his name properly, so apologies for this, wherever it is. Birry, I think, or something like that. He scored 4 goals, so he's doing all right. They've got Kajunga, Elias Kajunga, who I think is a decent player, and they've got big, as you would say, Al, on me, big Bruss and Michael Morrison at back. He'll put his centre about and dive about and let our attackers know they're there. So for me, it would definitely be Sam Cosgrove playing up front and give Michael something to aim at, if you like. Give him something to have a tussle with and leave Devante free to work his magic, if you like. They're not doing bad. They've only lost 1 at home. They've won 3, lost 1, and drawn 1. So they're not doing bad at home. And they played a game less than us, so they could start to catch up with us, and overtake us in time. But it's going to be a strange game. We can't miss the chances that we missed yesterday. So I think they'll come at us, which might help us. What I don't want to see, what I really don't want to see, is us play ourselves into lethargy by just passing it about round the back, backwards, forwards, sideways, back, sideways, all that. Because we play ourselves when we're away. If we're not careful, we play ourselves into complacency, and then if anything goes wrong, we can't lift ourselves out of it. So I would like us personally. I would like us to put them under some pressure and have a go. Whether we will or not, I don't know. We certainly would have last year. I don't know if that's what we'll do this year. What we've been doing this season, we seem to be allowing teams to come on to us and then trying to hit them on the break. Personally, just my personal view on tactics, that's a recipe for disaster. But we haven't lost away from home, so what do I know? Best manager in the world from top at Easton. In fact, our best striker that we've got from top at Easton. I wouldn't have missed any of those chances. I might have fallen over before I shot. So Alan would have buried one. Alan would have buried one of them. He'd have fallen over, it had hit his head and bounced in. That's what.
And we just one leg and all. We just one leg.
Even it wouldn't have. I'll tell you, Alan wouldn't have, the McAtee shot. I know we're going back to last match. McAtee shot wouldn't have gone flying over at bar with Alan's dodgy leg because he couldn't hit it that hard. So it'd have to be on target because he couldn't hit it hard enough to get it over at bar. So
and then I'd have fallen down and he'd have to get penalty.
He would, Al. He would. You'd have gone down clutching your hip, pal. But yeah, I think Cambridge have proved themselves to be a decent side at home. They weren't bad last year. They started well last year and then dropped away. And I think I think they all are. There's only a few that are weaker in this division. I think they're all right. We've got to be on our mettle, otherwise, go a goal behind, and we'll start flapping and shooting that without due care and attention, if like, just flapping at it and
the Vex Red playing for him, Paul Digby as well.
Paul Digby,
yeah.
And everyone else under 21s days there. Going back to
good player for us. We're going back in time. He was a really good player, Josh. Really good player.
And his internet's now decided to pack itself in. There we go. Craig, Cambridge away. It's one of those we'll be expecting 3 points, but as Andy said, point behind us, game in hand. It's not going to be as easy as you'd expected pre-season.
I'm worried, mate. I'm worried. we can't seem to break a defensive team down. We can't seem to create chances, and when we do, we can't seem to hit the target. It's going to be a tough game, and personally, I'm not expecting a win. I think we've got to get back to basics and learn how to create chances and decent chances at that. Got to learn how to get some crosses into the ball. Got to stop this crab football. It's fine. It's fine against teams that want to press us, but also when teams want to over press us, like Portsmouth, we struggle with that as well. So for me, we need to get on training ground. There's a lot of work needs to be done. You know, we were fine at the beginning of the season, but we're a few months in now, so we need to start showing some progression. Cosgrove needs to start again. They're going to play defensive. You need to be able to put in a cross and know that there's somebody there that can finish his dinner, so to speak, in the air. I would fetch in Johnny Russell again. I think Herbie Kane being in that position is fine, but I think we miss his legs. We miss his burst into the final third. We miss his ball control, his weaving in and out of players, his movement. I think having him playing that Luke Connell role is taking so much away from what he is as a player, because he's just stood there and just spraying passes, and he's so much more than that. Obviously, with Callum Styles doing the same on the opposite side. So I think that did the opposite last match. But they've conceded 7 all season. Ryan Bennett at the back as well, along with Morrison. They're not going to be easy to break down at all. We're going to need to be a really honest metal to get out. We're going to be away on a Tuesday night. We know we don't like that as well. But I'm not expecting to. I'm expecting to be disappointed, because the drew at Derby. They've played some really good teams in the last games. So I mean, the drew at Derby yesterday, and I think their only loss really. I don't know if I take a look. I mean,
I'm going to change your name to the gloom teller.
Well,
we doomed, Captain Mannering. We doomed.
I've got to be honest. And
I know
the way we're playing at the minute, I can't see us beating anybody. I'm sorry, but if you don't score goals, you don't win matches. And having 13 shots in the last game, not getting one on target, that's a huge red flag for any club.
You all right now?
No.
What's your prediction? Go on, let's go.
We need Collins to boss the next ref.
That's what we are missing. Al, prediction. What you reckon is Tuesday night?
Well, they drew with Derby, didn't they? So I can't see us beating them, to be honest. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw.
What's this obsession with Derby? Derby below us. Derby are no better than us.
The note.
No, they're playoff contenders, aren't they? So
no, because they've not had the overall that we've had. They've got the same manager for last season, and they're still below us. We've had a hell of a lot more change, and they're just not producing. Just because they're a big name, there's no buys in this league. Andy?
Well, let me tell you this. Let me tell you a few things. We had a number of predictions yesterday. We had a load of predictions. Let me tell you, we had 88 predictions. 77 said we'd win. 77. So we're not all doom brothers before a match. 7 said a draw. Only 4 said a defeat. Funnily enough, the 4 people, which I'll list them now, that said we'd have a defeat, all went for 3-1 to Blackpool. So it went like 1-0 or 2-1. All went big, all went 3-1. So well done to Andy Laycock, Mark Basnett, who I think's predicted for the first time, Philip Tye, and Blackpool fan Phil Hornby. He predicted that his own side had beat us, and he were right. But on the league tables, before I give a prediction, I'm keeping the tension going. We've got people here that need to do better in total, better than predicting. You and Alan are shocking. You're shocking. But we need to do better with the predicting, because Tony Carlson, with only a few games left, there's not many games left now, he's running away with it. He's on 17 points. He's 4 points above next, which is Super Craig Wood. Super Craig. He's second on 13 points. Then there's a few on 12 points, including Big Kev. How can Big Kev be equal third? Big Kev. He talks to guinea pigs. How can he? Laura Hunter's on 12 points with Big Kev and Reese Pierce. And Noah, he's 9. He's 9. Easy, Alan. Stop barking, Alan. He's off. What's he doing?
Bye.
So, anyway, 2-1 to Barnsley. We'll wax them 2-1.
A very traditional wax them 2-1 as well. Craig, how are you feeling? I mean, I'm assuming after your assessment, 4-0 win?
No, mate. I'm going to go 0-0. I don't think either team's going to score. I think our defence has been pretty good in the past few games. And their attack, I'm just looking at stat sheets here, are not fantastic either. But their defence has been really good this season, and our attack in the last few games have left much to be desired. So I think it's going to be 0-0.
I think it's kind of weird that we have to pick one or the other. We're either solid defensively and seem to struggle going forward, or we'll score, but then not look too great at the back. Even when we win, like, there'll be a couple of chances you think, it's a bit...
It's whenever we face defensive teams. Whenever we face defensive teams, we can't score. And I don't know. It's we need to work on.
Smithy's making more sense now than he has done all show with dog barking. Well done, Bruni.
Oh dear.
It's nice. It's nice to get some good opinions from once, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to get that.
What was that? 7-0 Barnsley, Al?
I think I agree with you, Craig. I don't think we'll lose, but it's just been a little bit underwhelming and unconvincing in recent weeks. So I think I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think we'll both score. We'll go one apiece. And I think that'll just about, just be one of them games. Seemed like that's what yesterday was as well. Right. So make sure to get your
fickle. Have faith, you're fickle.
Nice. You see, I've copied you last 2 weeks, and it's got me nowhere. You are just as bad as me at predicting. I've found out. You just get lucky every now and again. A broken clock's right twice, isn't it?
Can't be that bad. You're equal with Smithy. Everybody else is above you. Everybody.
No, see, well, you'll not be after Tuesday, I imagine. I'll probably be like third.
We'll see. Get ready for a bull pie on Wednesday. Get ready.
Do we do points deductions?
We'll be back in playoff places.
I could do some massive point deductions to people on this, if that's a thing. Right. We're back on Wednesday with a Cambridge reaction show, and we'll delve a little bit deeper into recent performances as well. And we'll see you later. You Reds.